Good morning, gorgeous. Good morning, gorgeous. Don't forget to smile as you look radiant as you are the queen of your Nile. Wake up, beautiful. It's time to spread your wings. Open up your window. Hear the bluebirds as they sing. Good morning, gorgeous. Our listeners and our viewers, good morning. We thank you for joining us on this Saturday morning with a cup of Joe and your to get your Saturday morning inspiration going. Today on our podcast, I am Larissa Williams.
And I'm Sharonda Steele.
And our guest for this hour is Nubia Lateefa. We'd like to thank you for joining us this morning, and we want to tell you, good morning, gorgeous.
Good morning, gorgeous. I have to say, I am still just in awe of how much the print on our shirts look like Nubia. I'm getting so much life from this today. I just have to say that before we get started. But I'm so excited to have you here. Larissa told me a little bit about what you're doing. So, man, I'm ready to hear more. I am so excited about this today. Thank you for being here.
I'm glad that y'all gave me the opportunity, and it's glad to talk to you guys as well.
So as we get started, my first question to you, Nubia, is tell us a little bit about yourself so our viewers can get to know you, Nubia.
Okay, I'm just a Black girl from Kentucky, born and raised. I don't even know really what to say. That's a weird question when people ask. I'm like, what am I even supposed to say? Passion for reading, writing, history. Went to school to get a history degree. So I have a bachelor's in history because that's always been my thing. And I'm in school right now getting my master's in history. I have an adventurous spirit. I left about 2015. About 2015. I was working in a call center. It was a whole lot of us working in a call center, actually. Graduated college, like a variety of Black people all stuck in the call center with all of this like goodness that we have, right? And I was like, I ain't gonna keep doing this. So, Miss Theresa, you remember when you came over and we did the Jericho March? Me, you, and my mama?
Yes.
We did the Jericho March, and shortly after that, like, I left to go to Georgia. And then during that time, I just learned a lot. I didn't realize I had an adventurous spirit and didn't really get to experience a whole lot of things being here. But that doesn't mean that Kentucky's bad. I think it's just a mindset thing. So went there, became a flight attendant, got some military experience, and now I'm back in Kentucky.
That's a lot. You was like, I don't know what to say, but you literally just gave us a whole mouthful. You know that, right? Because each of those smaller pieces you said is almost like a whole conversation alone. So that's good. Like, don't downplay that ever. You just literally gave us a whole lot of life with that. But Larissa was telling me a little bit about the People's Porch, and I have to say, like, I'm all for it. Can you talk to us a little bit more about that?
Okay, so like I had previously mentioned, I have a history degree. So I always had this passion for history and then Black folk. And I realized most of my life I have been collecting or maybe stealing pictures from my people. But either way, I have been collecting them. I was always taking my one cousin, Fat Man. I was always taking his like VHSs, CDs. I still have them to this day. So I had always been like collecting and taking these things, but at the time it wasn't really connecting like what that meant. Because, anyways, and you go to places like when we're in Kentucky, I always would think like, why is there no Black stuff here? It's nothing to do here, and I just don't believe that you should have to go somewhere else to get your culture because it doesn't make sense. Because I'm Black from Kentucky, so obviously why wouldn't I be able to have those things here? Why shouldn't I be able to go somewhere and just have some big Black stuff on the regular? So that kind of like propelled me to actually take myself seriously in collecting. I didn't really know what it meant though. I didn't get a name for it probably until 2018, 2019 is when I actually like solidified the name. Like, oh, the People's Porch. And even then I didn't halfway take myself seriously collecting. But I initially started collecting because I believe that a lot of things in our community, especially as Black folk, are not seen as valuable until somebody else tells you it's valuable. And then a lot of things are seen as a novelty. Like there is no reason a Black Panther newspaper should be $125 when you didn't even care about it 15 years ago.
Right.
And so I believe that we have the right to experience those things. And that's essentially why I started collecting, because I don't believe that everything has to be in a like scholarship environment, because how many of my folks is actually going to go down to UK and go into Black collections? I just don't believe that. I feel like that's meeting your community where they're at. And I just believe we should be able to have access to our things without barriers.
Yes, so good. And I have to say, when she first said the name, I so connected with that, because it's almost like the porch is where things are coming together, right? I grew up on the west side of Chicago. We hung out on the front porch.
On the porch.
That's where everything happened, right there on that porch.
On the porch.
So in a way, that's what you're doing when you're pulling all this together, right? And people are able to come and see them and learn more about who they are right there on the porch, which is where we all were anyway.
Right. So it's funny you said that, because that's actually initially where that part of the name came from. I'm like, okay, it's for the people. Black people gather on porches. That's literally how it came together.
Wow. I love it. Love it, love it, love it, love it, love it, love it. My thing is, when I see her set up at these pop-ups, because Nubia she's shy, but also still wants to get her point across. Okay, I've known her for a long time. I can't remember how when we first met. My sons were they were 3 and 4 maybe, or something.
They were little kids.
They were little kids, and to see where she was then and to where she is now, and to see her step out of her comfort zone to start doing these pop-ups. And what I love more than anything is that her mom is right there by her side, sharing this vision with her. And it's through much prayer. And like she said, we did the Jericho Wall March in the living room of her mom's home. And to be able to see her overcome some barriers is such a truly, truly blessing. But to see her also blossom into the woman that she has become, I guess today I'm just an emotional wreck. Okay, I'm just gonna say
I'm sending you virtual tissues. Tissues. She's been emotional a lot today. I'm just sending her virtual tissues. It's okay. It's okay.
I mean, it's just a blessing to see it, and then to see her in action when people come up, to see all the different historical, magazines and books and portraits and photos that she has collected, and then being able to share them when people turn and come. And you think, because I wasn't really sure how the people would receive it, but it's amazing. So my question to you, Nubia, at this point is, since you have started the People's Porch and you've been at these pop-up events, how has it made you feel? And do now with it being started, can you see this even continue to grow even larger than where it is right now?
Good question.
Yeah, that is a really good question. First of all, the community showed me tremendous support, and I'm a firm believer that sometimes you have to give your community things that they didn't know they needed. Just because we've never been exposed to certain things doesn't mean that you didn't know you needed it. Sometimes you need the opportunity to explore it or be introduced to it. So I believe that all Black things are artifacts, and I believe in pushing those to people so they can explore that. Like, imagine your enemies can't really tell you who your enemies are, right? Like, we know in our community, shout out to Frederick Douglass, but Frederick Douglass should not be the only person that you telling me is a great person.
Mm-hmm.
There's too many of us and too many of us out there.
Right.
We have the information. I mean, we got books, we got pamphlets, we got articles, ephemera. We have everything to show that. But imagine not seeing yourself in those things. Every time you go somewhere, you see a Life magazine. Like, who cares about that? That don't got nothing to do with us. We have our own community with our own things. And I love bringing up that memory for some people who actually, some people did grow up in a time where they were actually exposed to a whole lot of Black content. But that's not true for everybody.
Right.
And sometimes it's just bringing that out. So for me, with the People's Porch, I just want to be able to curate that into my community, but also like archive. So I'm working on my own like archiving information. I really don't want to just be popping up with books, I'm trying to archive. I collect old photos, ephemera, like any type of ephemera. Like I have this from my grandmother, like cut out of a newspaper for her birth, like things like that we neglect. And you don't know if years down the line how this can change something for somebody. It can answer a question for somebody. So things like that, I think that are valuable to keep in our community. But I mean, somebody has to do it. Somebody has to start somewhere.
Yeah.
So
I think of like the People's Porch, and I'm so like this. I can't say it enough. Like it is like feeding my soul. You have no idea. But I think of it as like this is like a traveling museum of culture of who we are, right?
Yes.
I can see this like, on the road, like sharing this more of what you're gathering and encouraging other people in their areas to have a version of the People's Porch that highlights what's happening in their communities. Especially, it's important for us as adults, but even for like the younger folks, it's even more important for them now to be able to have and see these pieces of rich history that they would not see otherwise. This is good stuff.
Girl, now with you saying that, Sharonda, I can see Nubia traveling from state to state, purchasing like an old school bus or an old, something like that, and renovating it, and taking it to state, getting it renovated with all with the African American history and memorabilia and I can see that. There are people that, renovate and purchase those type of vehicles for like their on the move shopping experience. They open there because instead of having a brick and mortar, which, that's great and fine and dandy too. But if you have something where you're able to travel with it historically from state to state, you're helping all those different states that you connect with and you travel to be able to open up something for themselves. You might, with that, you might be inspiring someone that may feel like they want to do something like that, but don't know where to begin. You could be the face of starting a new trend in the area and time that we are living in right now. Because
and I'm even thinking about, I'm in Berea right now, and they used to do this, and actually I was going to be trained on this, where they had like a Black Berea tour, where you go and you learn about the history of Black folks in this little bitty small town. So like even just throughout our state and not understanding all of the history that's literally right next door to you and you have no clue. In my mind, I'm thinking of the People's Porch. That, could be something I can bring here and we can collect things and, kind of work with Nubia. I can see you connecting with so many other people to have these little people's porches all over in a lot of the towns. And of course, then spread abroad to other states, like, because this is a huge gap for us. And we know that it is. We're not getting it in the educational system. I'm a huge proponent for education. However, I do think there are a lot of parts of our history in our lives that we miss. And it's literally sitting in my grandmother's place somewhere, right? In a box where she shares stories of things that have happened. How do I go back and start getting those pieces and being able to highlight them in a way to share with others and encourage them to do the same thing?
Mm-hmm.
You know, this is you've got a little thing going on for you. I don't know if you realize that or not, but you really do. You really, truly do.
So Nubia,
that was dope that you said that.
You do.
Yeah. So what are you feeling right now?
I'm excited. And then I also wanted to say, there was now I follow several people who are collectors. Of course, you always follow people who have the same interest in you, because it's encouragement as well. But there is a woman, I cannot think of her name, but her business is the Black Arts Library. She is out of Detroit. And so when I seen hers, which is probably more recently in the last 2 years, I was like, that's what I want to do, similar to that, because she actually has her stuff laid out. Like, I think maybe one of her first curations that was facilitated was at the museum. Mm-hmm. And so she just carted her books there, set them out, and then allowed people in the community to come, during a certain space of time, read them. And then, like, read them like you going to a library.
Yeah.
It's that you have these like specific curated Black arts books. And I was like, that's exactly what I want to do, because I'm not collecting for my health. I'm collecting for you to actually have access to it, because I don't understand why it's there to be in a glass and you can't read it. I mean, there's obviously some reasons that some things are protected, but for a lot of things, I don't agree. Like, why can't I open that book? Why can't I read the words? So
good. No, that's a great idea.
So have you thought about hosting, have you thought about having an event for like just the People's Porch Day, where, like, I experienced something recently. There was a young lady in Louisville, and she had, I can't think of the name, but it has something to do, and it was connected to the color purple, because she loved the movie The Color Purple. And it was incredible. It was incredible.
It really was.
It was. And she's a painter. So I'm telling you, those pictures look like Danny Glover from The Color Purple, and they look like Whoopi Goldberg from The Color Purple. And the one for Suge Avery that had the beads on it and the feathers. And then we all had to dress in that era. We had to dress in that era. She had a lady came and sung the song Sister. The lady sung Sister with her dress on from that era. I can see you hosting an event like that here in Lexington with your memorabilia for the day, 3 to 4 hour event where people can come and actually see the pictures and the articles that you have collected, have them framed. They can walk through and read, have some little light appetizers. People can come and read the books and everything. And then you can just speak from the heart on what this, overall about the People's Porch. I can really see you hosting an event like that here in Lexington.
Or even like a highlight, or a maybe in partnership with like the public libraries, where you set up the People's Porch, and maybe it stays at a location for like a month, where people can come and actually read and look through everything. I'm thinking like little chairs, or like literally make it look like a porch, where people can just sit and just look at and read through things, and maybe like a different branch. You can go to a different branch each month. So every person that come in see the People's Porch, and they can go up there and look at all of the material that you've been able to collect, and things that you want to share. They can maybe read, turn it back in when they're done, so that someone else will be able to use to look at it too. Like, this is
girl,
this is pretty amazing, girl.
You about to blow up, girl. So get ready.
I mean, we starting small. I mean, she start start with the libraries first, and then boom, I could see you doing proposals where you're going speaking and hosting these things, hosting the People's Porch on university and college
Oh,
campus.
absolutely. Oh, absolutely. Oh, I will have you at Berea in a heartbeat. Easy.
Yeah.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
I'm
Have you
getting
ever
excited.
thought about it growing to that level where you like, no, I'm just doing what I do right now?
No, it's yes, and it's actually a lot of this is like confirmation for me as well. Because right now I kind of been trying to balance this, like writing my thesis and then the other things that I actually um need to move forward with. So this was really just a lot of confirmation, because everything y'all saying is like, yeah, I'm not here to hoard it. I'm here for you to get this. So absolutely.
I love it. I love it. You mentioned thesis. Is it centered around anything with what you're doing now?
A little bit, kinda. It's on Amy Jace Garvey. So I'm like very Pan-African at heart. So I wanted to talk about how Black women are pretty much the center of all political labor. It doesn't really matter what it is. I'm like, we the center of it. Why Black men might be the face. You might know Marcus Garvey, but I'm telling you that Amy Jace Garvey is the one that was archiving his legacy. And she's like a top tier journalist, but yet we don't know.
Yes.
Right. So even while I'm sitting up here archiving, it's like the spirit of Amy Jace Garvey is on me.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it.
That gave me chills.
I love it. This has been good. You got something going here.
Yes, you do.
You have something going, really. And when she just said the name to me, I'm like, and then to sit here and actually hear more, I'm like, oh yeah, I can see this really, really growing seriously. So yeah,
I can fast.
Keep pushing for sure, because this have the ability to expand beyond probably what you ever would have imagined.
Yes. Yes.
I truly believe that. But it won't happen if you don't work it.
Right.
Yeah. Yeah. And pull other people
I'm
around.
receiving everything.
Yeah, pull other people around, like create a team of folks to be able to help you, because it is going to grow and you are going to need some other folks to help out with it for sure. And the fact that you came on here today looking like this woman on our shirts.
Yes. That confirmation.
Yes. The People's Porch. Shoot.
Yeah.
Congratulations with this, because just be able to have the wisdom and the idea and start to act on it is the start, and you've already gotten it started. So you got something here for sure. I'm gonna say that. Mark my words right now. I can really see this growing on a whole other level for you. So yeah, congratulations, man.
Congratulations, Nubia.
Thank you.
And is there anything else you'd like to share with our viewers before we sort of wrap it up here?
You can find me on Instagram at the People's Porch Collection. Yes.
The People's Porch Collection.
Yes.
Perfect. I'm going to find you today.
And as always, we thank you so much, Nubia Lateefa, for coming on and accepting our invitation. You have truly, truly blessed and lifted our spirits this And look, I just got to say, we are in unison today.
Very much so.
Literally, we're rocking it. This was meant to happen in this way for sure.
Yes, 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 yes. It really, truly, truly, truly was. And as always, we thank our listeners and our viewers for watching and listening. But as we always end our program, we want to make sure that you find yourself,
believe in yourself,
and love
yourself.
yourself. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Everyone, bye.